Coming to you live this morning from the Mushroom Kingdom WKBAG Studios. Wario, K. Rule, Bowser, Andros Gannon. This is Video Games, a comedy show. I'm your host, Jeremy Schmidt, and Daddy's got his nighttime voice on today, folks. I went out last night and had one cigarette, so I sound like an old gravelly man. We got a great show lined up for you today. We have the lovely and funny and talented Connor McCabe. Hello.
Oh, I ate too much and I'm feeling a little bloated.
Connor, just
What?
just
I'm not allowed to say my piece?
And could you hear that? Could you
I
hear
cou-
your sound?
I could. It's great. It's funny because when I hear Kieran Culkin on that clip,
Yeah.
at first when he says the name Connor, it sounds like I'm saying my own name to me.
Yeah. You and Kieran Culkin have a lot in common. Similar swag, similar voice.
Similar swag, similar voice, and we both were in the same department store in New York City in December 2022 for a moment, and I noticed him and I was like, oh my gosh, that's Kieran Culkin. So the list goes on.
Yeah, we often do forget about that moment, but
Yeah, no, we don't talk
I'm
about
glad
it
you
enough.
brought it up. We also do have the hilarious, talented, always freaking just ripping it so good, Mikey Stephens.
Oh man, I ate too many cigarettes. So feeling.
I love Yoshi.
All right, and we're having a good time here in sunny Los Angeles. We're gonna talk about video game bloat later on in the episode. Bloat. We all know what bloat is. It's just too much stuff. There's just too much going on here. It's not good. I'm not loving it. It's just kind of, you want to trim the hedges a bit. You want to tidy up those hedges.
We knew this was coming, right? We knew it was coming. That's how I feel. I'm not surprised, and I'm just like, I knew it.
Yeah.
Feels like a State of the Union of sorts that we're sort of putting on today that is very needed.
Exactly. And it's exactly why we also dressed up nice for this.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, before we get into all that, I gotta know. I just gotta know. What have you been playing? It's got too many words for the chant to work, Connor McCabe.
I don't think I've talked to either of you about this, but I have recently dipped my toe back into science. I've actually been, I had been taking some time to work on a
Holy
degree,
shit!
What
a physics
the
degree. I took
hell?
some physics in high school, and so through that degree, a requirement is that we need to have a sort of spring internship this semester. So I've actually been, swapping time each week between the Aperture and Black Mesa laboratories, folks.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you like that?
Yeah, I did like that. So you're
You
interning over
you
there?
had me. I was locked in. I was
Yeah.
like, this
I was-
could be
I
real.
was taken for a ride.
You're like, one semester he's taking a video game writing course, and the next he's taking a physics course.
How is it over there? You run
it's-
into any Cave Johnsons?
You know what?
So wait,
Plenty
hang
of
on. What
them.
do you just Portal? What are you playing? Yeah.
I have been truly playing a lot of Valve stuff. For
Gotcha.
the most recent Call Me by Your Game co-op episode, I got our Half-Life 1 crew from last year back together. Michael Hearn, Garrett Morlang, Kristen Thorson, who we did the Advent Children episode with.
Yes. The Brain Trust.
The Brain Trust.
Mhm.
Got that crew back together from last year's episode, and because I basically played through all of Half-Life 2, episode 1 and 2 for the first time, which I know the three of us have talked about the Portal series a bunch,
Yes.
but I really enjoyed my time with Half-Life 1. 25 years after it came out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there are some very clear and obvious things just haven't aged well about the game, and it's clearly got some quality of life stuff that could use improvements. Of course, I chose to play the original, so that's kind of on me.
Right.
But Half-Life 2 has a like small percentage of those issues, and I just ate that stuff up, folks.
Still holds up like
I think
quite a
so.
bit. Yeah.
And
Freaking sweet.
I think so. I like really. I'm a sucker for a first-person adventure narrative, which is great because Jeremy and I are playing through BioShock currently for our current games club. But yeah, Half-Life 2 really impressed me. There's some things that I missed about Half-Life 1, like there's not as much alien stuff, but I do like that it's like the fallout of what if this portal was opened up to another world or like a sort of universe, and how would like a government entity respond, or an imposing sort of group, a military. And yeah, Stevens, I'm sure you've played this game being a Valve head.
Loved it. Yeah, this was Orange Box. So
Yeah.
I was an Orange Box guy. Yeah, I mean, the engine Source, that's when Source was introduced, and it was revolutionized physics in games. Speaking of physics, but yeah, the what's it called? The gravity gun.
Oh my gosh.
I remember seeing a demo, like it was like a year before Half-Life 2 actually came out, and they were demoing like what physics could look like in this
Yes.
game, and my mind was fucking blown. And
Yeah.
it just changed everything. Changed every first person shooter, every like any kind of first person experience was all trying to mimic what Source and what Half-Life 2 had done after that. Truly like legendary. I was gonna say, like, I don't know if they get their flowers, but I think they fucking do. I think everyone knows and respects what Half-Life 2 brought to the game.
Yeah. Well, but it is kind of weird though that it is kind of old now.
Yeah.
Like
It's 20 years old this year.
Oh my god.
Part
Wow.
two.
I think we all remember it like coming out like it was yesterday. Like it just feels
Yeah.
like a new game, but it has been a long time.
And
You
there's
said it was 20 years?
20 years because it came
Dang.
out in
And I
04.
wasn't even alive then.
I know.
That's how
Dude,
young I am.
You weren't alive. July was in diapers.
July was in diapers easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really
So-
does hold up so well, and I was impressed by so many of the moments in the game, whether it was physics, or the way that they just kind of let you run around while the narrative is going on. Like you're not fixed to a certain spot, which is a choice. Like I think some games are like, no, we're showing you a like cinematic cutscene. They do it great too, but this is just so fun that you can be dicking around while you're getting like the most important news like you could have.
Mhm.
I loved it, and then I was out of town.
You just mean
last-
how like characters will just still be kind of like talking, and you could just be like,
yeah.
all right, I'm gonna
Be like,
walk away.
Gordon, are you
Yeah.
listening?
Yeah.
Gordon,
Yes.
the free man.
Yeah, the free man. That's great. And then I was out of town last weekend. Brought my Switch with me. Wasn't even playing anything on my Switch, and I was like, you know what? After a bit of wine tasting during the day,
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
the-
Red or white?
and we're talking everything, Jeremy. in
Everything.
between.
Just mixing them up,
Orange.
mixing them
Oh, yeah.
together.
Red, white,
We got a blue in
sparkling,
there.
Cold,
rosé,
piping hot.
cold, piping hot wine.
Yes, I did go wine tasting with my family last weekend for the first time, and that
That
stuff
sounds fun.
it was great, and it cooks you early to where even if you don't get drunk, you're tired. And so each of the 2 days we were there was back in my room at like 9:30 and played like 2 hours of Portal 2, just booted it up, and that
Nice.
game, which we did a whole co-op episode on, is in my personal top 10, and it even rose a ranking because I've been just cruising through it, and it's as impressive to me today as it was when I first
Is this
played it.
and
2
it
years
was
ago.
that your is this kind of like your second time revisiting it?
Second time.
When we
In kind
did
of a
the-
short amount of time too. Like
Yeah.
you
between,
played that first one not
like,
too long
last
ago.
year, I think. Yeah.
When we did that co-op, I think I talked about this on that app, but like I was cruising through the puzzles. Did you
Yeah.
experience any of that where you were kind of like, oh, I remember this one? like-
Some of them I remembered like without even playing it, and others, as soon as I would step in the room, I would be like, oh, this is that
Oh, this one. Yeah.
I've enjoyed the ones that were challenging to me 2 years ago that took extra time generally still do, but I'll get to them quicker because those synapses connect and my memory
Yes,
helps.
Yeah, you got that muscle milk memory.
Yeah, got that
the
muscle milk memory going.
baby.
But that's like taking up that has been taking up the majority of my time. I've barely been playing Rebirth because of being out of town. I dabbled twice this week, and I'm in the
Where are you?
I am
Corel?
I'm in Corel, but I'm in that Stevens,
Don't
are
say
you playing this
anything.
game too?
Nope, don't say anything. Don't
No,
say anything about it.
Stevens
isn't-
is in
Don't
trouble.
say
Mikey's in trouble.
anything about it.
Jeremy,
anything
let's
about
just
it.
Mikey's
say
about to be in trouble.
I'm not in trouble.
You're about
You
to
guys
be
are in trouble.
You're about to be
You guys are in big
huge
trouble.
trouble.
Jeremy, I can't wait to tell everyone how big
can't-
you're in big
I
fucking
cannot
trouble.
wait
but-
to tell
yeah.
everybody
Oh.
about how much trouble
Oh
you're
my
in.
I'm
God.
gonna back both of you up, actually.
I'm
Uh,
with you, fellers.
Jeremy's in trouble. What are you saying though, Connor?
Jeremy, I'm right before the gold saucer. So
oh, great.
I'm deep into the coral
great,
region.
great.
You know, meeting some people, someone who has a past in a certain area.
Yeah, maybe there's some friction about.
There's some friction about. There's some
Yeah.
wine being poured on heads.
Yes.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
baby.
That's
oh,
enough.
baby.
And Jeremy's in trouble.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. So the reason why Mikey's in big trouble is he was supposed to be playing that game a long time ago and hasn't started it yet.
No,
is
I
that
told
true?
you I wasn't. I told you I wasn't gonna start it. I told you.
Ever? I don't remember. What,
Not
what did
ever.
You say?
Not ever. No.
You're not ever gonna do it.
No, of course I am.
Landon, what
Just
are you
at the
waiting
time
for?
we had. Well, you're in big trouble. So so let's talk about that.
Okay. All right.
Well, I guess it's good. Kind of a segue. Because I'm playing Dragon's Dogma 2 right now,
That
and I
is
knew
sick.
I had this pre-ordered. Since I've definitely had Rebirth pre-ordered longer, but since we talked about on the first episode of this year,
Yeah.
about games coming out this year that we were like, yeah, what about this? And I think it was Danella brought it up, and he was like, I've never played one of these games, but I think I'm going to try. I literally that night got on PS Plus, got the old Dragon's Dogma, checked it out, and I was like, oh, I'm going to love the new game.
Yeah.
So like I played, I don't know, maybe like 3 hours of the OG, and I was kind of like, I got the gist of this world and this vibe. I was like, oh, I'm gonna love it, and I pre-ordered it then. So I knew that if I started Rebirth, I would never get to this game.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's it. Yeah. I mean,
So that's where I'm at.
I can verify that like Rebirth is. I think I just hit 80 hours on it, and
get
it's
the
like
fuck out of town.
I've still got multiple chapters left, and I'm like,
I'll say I'm probably 40 hours, maybe 30, 40, and I'm almost done with Dragon's Dogma. And I had a feeling, you know what I mean? So
okay, can we spend some time talking about Dragon's Dogma a little bit?
yeah, absolutely. And this is why you're in big trouble. You're
I
both in
think-
big trouble.
Okay,
you know what?
You're
Everyone's
about to
in big
be,
trouble.
You're almost out of big trouble because of Dragon's Dogma 2.
Well, that's what I'm
But
saying.
if you
And that's
hadn't been
why
playing
you
Dragon's
are
Dogma
in
2,
big trouble.
You'd be in big trouble right now.
Everyone's in big trouble
You
because
have to go put your nose on the wall. That's what
you
my
know
parents
what?
made me do.
I don't know
Put your nose on the
anyone-
wall.
that's weird.
Just go put your nose on the wall.
I don't know anyone that's playing or has played like the OG. Like I don't hear anybody talk about it,
Right.
and
This
that's
might
weird.
be a good chance to gaslight Mikey, but continue, Mikey. Go ahead.
Cult classic, maybe, right? The Dragon's Dogma.
I
one.
feel like that's like in the zeitgeist, but is like who do we know that's playing it or is like swears by it? I don't know anybody,
It looks
And
like
it's
a
kind
Jacques
of-
game to me.
and I bet he hasn't played it.
I bet.
It
You know what
does
I
look
mean?
like a Jacques game.
But my point is,
Here,
I
tell
think
me
this
tell me if you think this joke
game
works.
this game. Okay,
Tell me
hit
if you think this joke works.
Uh-huh.
Tired Dragon's Dogma. Wired Kevin Smith's Dogma. You know, like the movie.
And the question
I
is,
was
does
thinking
that
about the
joke
movie,
work?
Depends
I mean,
on who's hearing it.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith's Dogma is something you haven't thought about in a long time. Okay.
Well, it's the second one too, so
yeah.
it's the sequel.
Okay, so tell what. So
Okay.
What is
So here's the thing. This is Connor. You would like this game.
Mm.
Jeremy, you would like this game. Jacques,
Okay.
he would like this game. McCaller, he would like this game. Hearn, he would like this game. Diaz, he would like this game. Schnupp, he would like this game.
Yeah.
Costanza, he would like this game. The whole gang.
Yeah.
PJ, who am I leaving out? Who am I forgetting
maybe
here?
Courtney?
Courtney, she would like this game.
Yeah.
I truly think there's something for everybody in this game. It's such a fucking little, I describe it as a little weirdo. It's literally trying to do its own thing, which is insane. While also doing like the universe is like almost trite. Like it's like just down the barrel fantasy. But then it's like, and I was kind of doing some research on it. It's Capcom's impression of like Game of Thrones, like Western fantasy, right? So it's like this like JRPG take on like Skyrim or something. So it's like these like Bayonetta action fight battles. You know what I mean? Like it's like an action RPG fantasy game. It is so fucking weird. It's so weird, and it's like a little janky. Like it's like a little like kind of climbing is like bad in it. You know what I mean? Kind of thing.
I'm in.
It's like it's so strange and so weird. But like
I
it's
hear you
really
get
cool.
some fun pawns in this.
Yes, so that like that's the whole thing is like you recruit a party. You have like one main dude, and they're called pawns, and they're just people that like follow you, and you can have up to 4. So like a 4 is a complete party, and the people that you recruit to your party are like designed by other players. So it's like if I design a pawn, you can essentially hire my pawn into your world to be a part of your party.
That's cool.
And they will have their own little quests. It'll be like defeat an ogre, and like, you know, their player can set like a bounty, or like it'll be like you get 1,000 gold if you complete your pawn's quest. So there's all these like weird little fucking systems. What I think it really shines is there's a vocation system or job system, whatever class, where you can constantly change shit, and then you can sub out different passives essentially from each vocation to kind of customize a build, a class, if you will. So you can like, there's like ranked 1 through I think 9 is like max vocation. So if you start as a mage, you can hit 9, and then you can switch jobs and just be a fighter. So you're not like locked into being anything. There are like main character specific classes that you can only get that your pawn can't do. But that's like it's weird, but it's like kind of like Souls like at times, like where you're taking down these huge like monsters. It just has like weird ass mechanics. Like there's a grab mechanic.
Is it
which
like,
is like
Monster Hunter a little bit too? That's
Yeah,
what people were saying is like
kinda.
you kind of like have to grapple onto like dragons sometimes.
Yes.
And
Yeah, you have to
wrestle 'em.
like literally like get onto shit and like climb it and find like the weak spot. It's so weird. It's like
I'm so good at finding the weak spot.
yeah, it's I love it. I've been having so much fun with it. It's a really good loop. I think the story is so boring and dumb. Like
Really? So kind of not like not.
that's just
loving the
not where this
story?
game
Yeah,
shines.
got
Like it's
it.
like I could care less. Like the story is like who cares? But like where it shines is for me where Skyrim really shined. But Skyrim had a cool story that I kind of was interested to see where it went. But it's like when you just go out, just leave town, and just wander around. That's where Dragon's Dogma is like amazing.
It sounds like a game I'd love to get locked in a vacuum and just only have that game to play for the next few months.
I just don't think I don't think you'll feel like I haven't felt like I gotta keep spending time in it. It's very easy to pick up and put down.
That's good
very
to know,
easy to, like-
Actually, I was kind of one reason I was avoiding that, and there's another game out that I'm kind of avoiding right now because it looked like a game I would get sucked into and like have to like spend like 1,000 hours in. So you're saying no?
I don't think so. I think it's there for you if you want. There's definitely like there's a new game plus and all that stuff. There's multiple endings, and if you care enough, I just don't. I think the where this game shines, I think the vibe is like on the like open road adventure, you know, the camping and the just finding a weird cave and running into a fucking ogre and having to climb it and, you know, wrestle it around and
Some
changing
of those
your party
scenarios
around.
looked really nuts online of like, you know, a bear, you're fighting a bear and the bear like falls and like catches himself on the other side of a cliff. So then the bear creates like a bridge and you like walk across the bear. Like, have you seen this?
God, no.
It's like the
awesome.
silliest looking thing, like weird fringe case scenarios of things that can happen.
I just like it's refreshingly strange. I'll say that. Like, again, I don't think the story is very interesting. I just don't think those are the things that like matter. It's all these weird little mechanics and like systems in this game where I'm like, I've never seen anything like this. And I can't believe, I mean, again, I do acknowledge that there is like a cult following around this game. I just don't personally know anyone who's ever been like, Mikey, you should play Dragon's Dogma. You really like it. So I'm here to I'm championing this game. This game is great.
Preaching the good news of
Truly.
Dragon's
Dogma. Everyone fucking get in there. Get your group of little weirdos.
I'm gonna get in there. Get in there. Is it a game that you've been playing with friends online?
No, you can't.
Oh, you can't. Oh,
no.
That's the only way you can do it is through pawns. Basically.
Yes, so it's just like you can like recruit my pawn into your world. That's the only interaction.
This game
that
sounds
would be fun,
so
but...
sick. It also does because like I have not played Baldur's Gate 3 yet, and I was like, but this feels like a good game I can play in between Rebirth and Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 is like you buckle up for another 80 hours.
Dang.
You know, this is like
God, I love
this
video
was
games.
This was like exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah.
At the time it found me. You know what I mean?
Highly
recommend.
It sounds freaking sweet. Connor,
it's
what
great.
do you think? You gonna check this out?
I love hearing people talk about it.
Yeah.
I do. It's another one of those games. Like, I know it's not exactly a FromSoft style game, but when I've heard people on podcasts talk about it, I'm like, this sounds fantastic. I don't know if I'll ever pick it up. I wish that I was forced to do so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another game I'm kind of have my eye on that I'm avoiding right now. It's Rise of the Ronin. You guys seen anything or care about this?
I have. I almost feel like I'm like such a Ghost of Tsushima stan. I'm like, I ain't never gonna play this bullshit.
It got great reviews. It's from a great developer.
Fuck that game.
Oh my god. Oh no.
No, I might. I feel weird playing what seemingly feels like the same thing. I'm kind of
sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I don't know. You thinking of getting it, Schmidt? Or
well, yeah. I mean, only because, and I mean, we'll get into it in just a second. But it's like there is fucking nothing on the horizon.
Dragon's Dogma 2, baby.
Yeah,
get it.
I mean, there's nothing. I mean, there's Elden Ring DLC for the psychos, and then it's like, you know, kind of. It looks like a crazy bear year.
And not bear in the sense that Stevens was
bear.
just talking.
Not like falling off a cliff, creating a bridge kind of bear.
So when are you going to start Rebirth? Because I almost
Soon.
texted you the other day, but you know why I didn't? Because I knew I was going to be disappointed by the answer.
Because you're going to be in big trouble.
Because you were going to be in huge trouble when I found out that you're not even started Rebirth.
It's good that you didn't text me because I was going to make you put your nose on a wall, buddy.
No, but
you're in
Jeremy,
fucking trouble.
Put your nose on the wall. I don't want to put my nose on the wall. Screaming.
That is some weird shit, man. Parents be having some weird shit, man.
I kind of like put your nose on the wall because it's like, it is a punishment. You definitely don't want to do it, but it's not really violent.
Yeah.
You know?
It
just
is
like
psychologically
shame.
Psychologically bizarre.
I feel like my stepmom was the queen of shit like that. I would eat burnt toast for
Oh.
ever because she was like, it'll make burnt toast make you beautiful. And I'm just like,
what?
Mom, you burnt this toast. Like that's just what happened. But it's like a way to just trick kids into being like, no, that toast is good, actually.
Yeah.
I believe that for years. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I would char my toast and be like, I want to be beautiful. What? I want in on this.
I'll tell you what, folks. I'm taking put your nose on the wall, and I'm taking burnt toast.
Makes you
Immediately.
beautiful.
Yeah. Take that into
know?
your relationship.
Yeah.
So, Rebirth, playing it, loving it. Don't want to say too much, obviously, Mikey, because I don't want to spoil anything for you. But
Great.
there are some like really beautiful moments in it. So many great, beautiful sequences. Connor, we were texting back and forth about something kind of
Oh
recently.
my gosh, yeah.
And it's like, it is, it's the game of the freaking century. It's just so great. But it did inspire today's topic, which is video game bloat, and wanting to talk about it. And what is it? And what do we consider bloat? And what do we not consider to be bloat? Also, this other thing I've been playing is called Bomberman 94. You guys ever?
Oh, cool.
You guys ever? Does anyone like Bomberman?
I loved Bomberman back in the day.
Oh,
yeah,
dude.
loved it. So it's up there with
Bomberman.
GoldenEye
Yeah.
memories of some of the best couch co-op is playing Bomberman.
Dude,
Bomberman was a
playing
good time.
two-player Bomberman on an NES in the late 80s, early 90s is like a huge vibe.
Yeah.
I think we found our next game night. Just Bomberman.
Bomberman. Yeah.
Super Bomberman. That's the one.
Oh, Super Bomberman's great. Yeah.
Super Bomberman's the one.
So there's this system that came out called the TurboGrafx 16. You guys know about this? It was like around the time of the Genesis and Super
Yes.
Nintendo. I recently got a TurboGrafx EverDrive cart and the attachment for the analog pocket. So I'm just
Yes.
playing all these TurboGrafx games. And Bomberman 94 was this like, it only came out in Japan, and I'm playing it now, and it's like so sick, and it's got like the coolest soundtrack, and I'm just like, in this Bomberman, you can like find these eggs around the map that turn into little dinosaurs, and you jump on them, and then you ride this dinosaur around and do Bomberman stuff.
Sounds like a character Stevens is quite fond of.
No.
Yeah,
I don't like any characters like
I
that.
don't
Like little weird
know.
lizards.
I love Yoshi.
Sounds like you love
Not
Yoshi.
ringing any bells.
It's Bomberman's just the best, you know. He's that mechanic, or like it's almost kind of like a Pac-Man to me, or like something. It's like an early, very simple. All you do
Yeah.
is lay out bombs and bomb away doors, and
Bomberman is one of those series that at the beginning of launch of so many like Nintendo consoles, I feel like there happens to be one that's like one of 4 games that's out. And I'm
Yeah.
always like, maybe Bomberman's one of the, like, I'm going to get the big game, and then is Bomberman the other one?
yeah.
And
is it Bomberman? You're
I'd
like,
never
no, it's
end up
Pilot
picking it up.
Wings. I'll do
Yeah.
Pilot Wings. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's amazing, and I would like to get together and do a Bomberman game night. There's a thing called a multi-tap for a Sega Saturn, and there's a Sega Saturn Bomberman that's supposed to be good, and you can play like 8-way Bomberman. Like,
So
8
all we need
people.
is 8 Sega
That sounds
Saturn
dope.
controllers.
Yeah, you need 8 Sega Saturn controllers, 8 people who want to do this, and you're in business. All right. Well, why don't you say we get into the news? We got some new releases that came out this week. Turbo Golf Racing.
Great.
Okay, I don't know what that is, but
It does sound sick.
I have to know now.
Yeah, Turbo Golf
I know
Racing.
normally we just blow past these, but that sounds intriguing.
I know it sort of just it makes the most sense in the world to me. You know what it looks like? It looks like a Rocket League.
Yeah.
Could be good.
I've been playing a version of Rocket League recently, Jeremy, but I'll keep the rest to myself. I think you might be familiar.
Okay, interesting. I like this.
This is some more Final Fantasy VII bullshit, isn't it? You dirty
Oh yeah,
dogs.
that's right. Yeah. Freedom Planet 2 came out. The genre? Platforming.
Tight. That's tight.
Oh my gosh. You guys remember how we were all really excited when the trailer for Botany Manor came out?
Oh yes.
Well,
Is
it
Botany
did.
Manor out?
It finally did. Botany Manor.
Oh, and I'm not gonna get it, but so that's so dope.
And that's the
Yeah.
game
Out.
about plants with like good social etiquette.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I heard about that.
Yeah. Botany Manor.
Just one.
Mm-hmm. They have one manor, and it's
They have
like
one manor.
it's napkin and lap.
It's a short game.
Yeah.
It's not
Hey, I'll tell you
long.
what, that game's not bloated.
Yeah. No. And then of course, who could not have pre-ordered Children of the Sun?
Hmm. Hell yeah.
Devolver. Devolver.
Cool.
What about Oh no. Oh no.
Jeremy's clicking between too many tabs. He lost the one that had the
I
thing
did.
on it.
I did. I lost it. Oh, okay. And what about, of course, House Flipper 2?
Oh.
I actually I hate to break the bit, but I've heard that's pretty cool.
Is it cool?
I've heard that the House
you-
Flipper is
Do
fun.
you have to balance it on its pointy roof with its floor pointed high at the sky?
That's the hard part.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Credit to Molly Kiernan for that joke. That's a Molly Kiernan original. House Flipper. She did a whole
If-
sketch about a guy who
Flip
thinks
the house.
flipping a house means turning it upside down.
Okay,
Okay.
I'd watch that.
What about what do you guys think about Gears of War?
It's a big blind
Yeah.
spot for me.
Yeah.
I-
Gears of War is fun at one point. in
Yeah.
time.
Is it over? There's Gears of War 6 is reportedly coming
Wild.
this summer.
Wow.
Yeah. But my
I- you
question
know, it's one of those
is it
games, like-
over, you know?
I thought it was at just one. You know, I thought that was it.
Yeah.
They keep making them.
They made a lot over the years.
You know, I got Gears Tactics.
Ooh,
They
course
did
you
like a
did.
tactics game.
that sounds fun.
Pretty good. Yeah, it was fun. It's like a XCOM knockoff kind of deal. But
Yeah.
it was good. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I played the first one, and I played it when I got my Xbox Series X, so like a couple years ago, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And but when I was playing it, then it was like, oh, this is old, and this is like kind of crazy. They don't make games like this anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I inherited.
hoorah! Like
Yeah.
so, like
Yes.
yeah.
I inherited when my friend's Xbox 360 died at the end of college. He was like, "That's it for me. You can have all of my games." And I have like a steelbook copy of Gears 1 and have never
Oh.
touched it.
Steelbooks are sick.
It's a
dude.
big old guy too. It's like a book.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think that vibe is like can't be done unironically anymore. Like
Right.
Helldivers 2 is that, but like in a Starship Troopers kind of way where it's parody.
Yeah, I still.
But it's
haven't
like when
played
you're
back.
serious about that, it's like this is dumb. This is I
Yeah,
don't give, like I'm not.
I
Yeah,
almost
I don't
feel
know.
like I don't know because I people like Gears of War 5. People like thought that game was good, but I almost feel like Gears of War and Halo both like struggle with this. Like they were games that were just so like military
Of the
forward
time,
and
yeah.
like come on grunts, let's go blow a hole in this guy's ass.
Yeah.
And now they have to kind of like dial that back in ways, and I feel like it's
I mean, I'm sure it's for somebody. Somebody's probably stoked on that. It
Yeah.
ain't me, but
right.
you know.
Well, but are you stoked on Stellar Blade?
There's like a demo out for that. I don't know what it is.
My PlayStation
Uh,
tried to trick me into downloading that demo. It said I got a notification that said your demo's ready to download. And I was like, oh, it is? I didn't even know. And I clicked it, and it was a demo for Stellar Blade. And I was like,
You're
you
like,
tricky.
I don't want this.
That's that new
funny.
high fidelity, like Devil May Cry, Bayonetta looking PS exclusive.
Yeah,
right.
right. It's a game that seems like they're pushing pretty hard.
Because they have nothing else coming out this year.
Right.
It's weird, man.
Right. It kind of looks anime style.
Little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, speaking of anime style, where are my Dragon Quest heads at? Where are you guys?
Is there a new are you
Where
talking
are
about
you?
Sandtown? Or is that what it's called?
Sandland?
Sandland.
Bandai Namco Sandland.
Sandtown.
Looks super.
Sandtown was
I
a
like
killer's album.
Sandtown. Yeah.
Sandtown, baby.
I like yeah. That looks awesome. I don't know if that's going to be good or not. I don't but Dragon Quest Square Enix reportedly reassigned the top Dragon Quest producer following delays of the game. So this is
wait, there's a new Dragon Quest coming?
So there's a new Dragon Quest coming. They had a little brief trailer maybe a year ago or something. And also since then Akira Toriyama has passed. So
R.I.P.
it's like the last Dragon Quest game where he's designed direct characters and stuff. So we're all very excited. It would be the 12th game, I guess. And it also looks like they were going to take like a dark route this time. It was going to be a little bit more of an adult feeling game.
Interesting.
But this reassigning the producer is a bummer because it's like means that probably things aren't going well or something in the development of it.
That's too bad.
Yeah. But very excited to play a new Dragon Quest. I would love that.
Hell yeah.
Connor, you ever
That's
check
cool.
out you ever play Dragon Quest?
Yeah, I've only ever turned on Dragon Warrior 1 for the NES.
Yeah.
But 11S Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition for the Nintendo Switch, that's one of those rainy day games where I think I know I'll eat it up, and I just have yet to touch.
Yeah.
I do a lot of looking, not enough touching.
A lot of looking, a lot of liking, not enough touching.
It's true.
All right. Well, what do you say we get out of the news and take a quick break? And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about video game bloat. We're going to talk a little bit about a lot of bloat. Stay tuned for that. Welcome back to Video Games a Comedy Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Schmidt. We have Connor McCabe in the house. We have Mikey Stephens in the house. I was, playing a game, a big, brand new blockbuster video game. The question kind of crossed my mind about video game bloat. This idea, and I think, Connor, we were having a conversation, and you were describing some of your experience with this same big old blockbuster video game, and you were describing some bits of bloat or feeling that way, and I started just thinking about that in games writ large. Like, what is bloat exactly? When does something constitute bloat? And, it's obviously a subjective thing, I think, to some extent, but it's like, when do we consider something to be bloat? I think is interesting. And then it got me thinking about, like, well, if something's bloat, does that mean I'm not enjoying the game I'm playing? And then I'm like, well, wait a second, like, if you like a game, isn't more game always good? Sometimes not. We'll get into it. Connor, explain bloat as best you can.
Bloat would be described as excess.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I would describe it as the big green ghost from Ghostbusters. Slimer. Yeah.
Slimer's a bit of excess.
that's
Anything
like bloat to me.
distracting you from your main objective. Anything that kind of gets you off that path, some stuff is arguable because it like enhances that, or you go down a little side road and you do a little side activity.
Did you guys both play the first Spider-Man?
Oh yeah, Spider-Man.
Released.
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Did you guys play that one?
Oh yeah,
I did.
played that.
Where
Played it all.
Miles Morales, I think, was like,
right.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Beep boop. Like,
yes. But Spider-Man 1 and 2, freaking Bloat City.
Bloated. I think Bloated.
And also,
I think,
Totally
one worse than 2. A 2, I remember when it was coming out, when like the review embargo and stuff was up, it was like, oh, this game is like 25 to 30 hours for a completionist. And I was like, that sounds great.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but yeah, there's so much unnecessary shit where it's like, in that game, that's how kind of how I feel about Bloat.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's also bloat in that there can be times. Last year, I felt bloated in that I had too much to play.
Oh yeah, like there was a
Like,
girth.
There was girth of just
games.
too many games
Yeah.
to where I was like, that's another version of bloat. But yeah, I think
And you were always
within a
trying to
video
like
game?
carry them around. Like you had all these physical copies, and so you were.
well,
Always
I've
trying
never played an actual video game. It's just
Yeah.
how can I like carrying them around.
Yeah, you're carrying
and
them
when
all
there's
around.
Yeah,
It-
when
that
there's too
was-
many
It was
good
hard.
ones,
It was hard to get
I
through
want
the
people
door.
to see
Yeah.
that I have them.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, it's like
and you take them room to room.
room to room,
Yeah.
and on flights is weird because it's like, well, you can only check one of these games. And I was like, well, I need all these games. How are people gonna know that I have
Sir,
all
you
these
got to
games?
carry on in a personal item.
Yeah.
Your personal item needs to be stored in the seat under the seat in front of you.
Yeah, and I got 16 games I'm
Yeah.
carrying around.
You're asking
and
people to
it's
hang on
loose.
to your games for you on this flight.
But I
Well-
think that Spider-Man one is like that's like there's like 15 hours, 20 hours of that game. I don't need it. I don't need it.
Mm.
I think
Yeah.
It
that-
wasn't fun, you know? It was like felt like a chore.
But let's break this down because I think this is a good example. Because I think we all unanimously agree on Spider-Man having bloat. But then my next question is, do I not like being Spider-Man in this world? Because if I like being Spider-Man, isn't Infinite Spider-Man good? Isn't like the more the better? Like why isn't why are like the pigeon missions a bummer or something?
I think
you know?
You know what? I think what it is a game has to be self-aware enough to understand what's fun about it. And I
Yeah.
think sometimes games think like, hey man, people are gonna love these fucking pigeons. And it's like, no, man, no, I don't.
You know,
I like swinging around, beating up bad guys.
Yeah.
Whatever that loop is, like ultimately it's tricky because it's a game. It's a video game.
Right.
So it's creating really fun loops. What's the loop?
Yeah.
And so that to me is like where you stray from the funnest loop, whatever it is, that's bloat to me. So I
Yeah.
agree. Yes, I like being Spider-Man, but this is still a video game. So like what's the funnest loop in this game that I enjoy? It ain't fucking pigeons.
It's
I'll tell you
not.
that right now.
But I would say that even the combat scenarios with the dudes, there's like too
Yeah.
many of those.
yeah.
I start ignoring
Yeah.
the like alerts of like armed robberies. I'm
Help!
like, they can figure
Help!
it out.
Totally.
And I'm just like, no,
Totally.
no.
Because I think actually what's fun about that game in particular is the story.
right.
Truthfully,
Yeah.
it's a comic, and what's fun is you're playing through a comic story.
Yeah.
And I think like that's what's fun about that game. So all this other shit is like it ain't that fun. The fights don't matter. Why am I gonna stop and fight every single? You know what I mean?
Well, that
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
there's something interesting there too, right? Like things feeling like they don't matter, like that to me signals bloat right away. Like in Final Fantasy VII Remake, a game you have played, I think, right, Mike?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Saving the cats. Like,
Sure.
you know what I mean? A mission like that where Cloud even says
Loved it.
in the game, he says,
Loved
like,
it.
that sucked. It's like, is that, that to me, it doesn't matter. It's so innocuous.
So here's
Yeah.
where I think here's a couple things. The first one is I think the reason that we might perceive more games to be bloated now, or that it's just such a hot topic for us, is because I feel like it starts with a lot to do with the pricing of games and how much like the publishers selling a game are like, this needs to be this long in order for our customer to feel like their $60 to $70 spend is worth it. And I think that whole formula is a little out of whack, where it's like for the people on this conversation, we're like, yeah, I'll spend $70 on Spider-Man 2 and play it for 25 hours and I'm satisfied. Whereas there are some complainy weenies out there who are like, no way, I didn't get my money's worth. And
That's
it
interesting.
depends on how we value our time and what constitutes like a full price experience too. But yeah, it ends up being hard to ignore those like little things in the game, or another Mysterio mission, or another little battle.
Yeah,
I think where we could
I
start
think
is
that's an interesting point.
I think
Yeah.
we could start with just like, I don't know, take a button off the controller, like one less button. Have we thought about that?
and make
Like, what
it
if-
and make it circle, because that's the bloatiest button.
I was gonna say, what if no circle?
What if no circle? Yeah. And that's how you back out of menu stuff. So you got to commit. You
I
got to
mean,
go
that
deeper into
will-
the menu.
That will force the developer to simplify that loop, because if you can't
Think
back
so.
out, then you only
Can't
got to
back
move
out.
forward. You start at the controller. We're getting somewhere here.
I mean, you're
Yeah.
not. There's something to that.
You're not wrong.
'Cause you
Cut the
got- you
controller
got-
in half.
Well, you got games like Vampire Survivors, right?
Yeah, one button.
That truly direction, move around. That's it.
Yeah.
Because they put the effort into the loop. What's the fucking loop?
I might even
Right.
say that game. Why am I even moving around? What if
That's
there was no
insane.
moving?
Yeah.
It's one of those AFK games, one of those fucking idle
Yeah.
games. They got those, Connor. I got a game for you that I think no fat,
Mm.
short and sweet.
Okay.
Stray.
Oh,
Did you guys play Stray?
I started it.
Stray is like very short,
Yeah.
and I left like honestly wanting more of it, but I was like, that was great.
Yeah.
And I was done. And it's like 10 hours. It's like, if that. It's
Oh yeah.
not long.
You can do it in an hour, I bet.
Yeah, truly.
That's
truly.
probably a
If
better
you
place
if you
to
did
be.
not if you just like mainline the story, you could finish that game in an
Yeah.
hour. I feel like.
Did you ever
but
play
it was
that,
like
Connor? Did you ever play Stray?
I did. I booted it up. I
You
I
pumped that.
a special edition of this game
So good.
Nice.
from I Am 8-Bit. So I've got. Speaking of steelbooks,
Oh.
I got a
Beautiful.
steelbook of this thing, and some other. Speaking of excess, I didn't need it. I should have just gotten the digital copy on PS Plus.
For free. Yeah.
Yes. But that is to your point, Stevens, a game that leaves you wanting more versus a game that you couldn't put down quicker. That has a nice lasting aftertaste to it.
yeah, like
Nice
to your
afterbirth.
point about like a studio just putting more
Mm-hmm.
is like, I don't give a shit about that. Give me more of something that matters.
Yeah.
Cool. But if you're just adding more dumb fucking pigeons, more fights, I don't care.
Well,
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Here's one of my questions about this as well is like, to off of Connor's idea. what if the opposite is true and Spider-Man is the only game you get that year? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
and then
Like good game or a good like
or
that's
like
the only
you're a
good
kid
release
and
or
you'd only get
Oh,
2
I see.
games and it's like on your birthday and on Christmas. I don't think there's a person out there like this anymore, probably, because games are quite a bit cheaper than you can get deals on it. But anyways, if Spider-Man 2 is like the one game that you're gonna buy, then
Yeah.
can there be bloat on it? Like
Great question.
because like I'll say this, like my thing with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth right now is that like I just want more. Like I'm in this place where I love every single little stupid side quest I'm doing for the kids or whatever. Like whatever I'm doing in that, I'm just like loving every second. I don't want it to end. But that's just because I have like Stockholm syndrome for Final Fantasy VII. I'm like it's like my favorite thing aesthetically and stuff. So
It's a great question, Jeremy, because yeah, if you don't have much to play throughout the year, or this is your big experience and you want to wring every ounce out of it, then those things can feel, depending on how they're handled, can feel really rewarding to the player. Like in Spider-Man 2, to their credit, the backpack, was it the backpack side quest? No, the Spider-Bot side quest. There's way too many of those things,
right.
but I do like the designs of them, and it did give a satisfying story teaser at the end of that quest. So am I hypocritical in being like, well, I liked that one? I think it also comes down to, like, if you don't want to play something, should we just not interact with the bloat if we don't have to?
Yeah. Like does the bloat hurt us?
I've come full circle now.
Is the bloat hurting us?
Yeah. Do we
I
maybe
mean,
want another
first
button
of
on
all,
the controller?
Should we add one?
if that for that little kid, if that's the only game you're getting, get a fucking job. Okay? Get a job. Okay? Yeah. All right, you little piece of shit.
Yeah.
You want another game? Get out there.
Yeah.
Get
And
a
I know you
fucking job.
don't want to work. I know your generation. Nobody wants
Yeah.
to work.
You
Nobody
fucking
wants to
little
lift
babies.
a finger for Taco Bell. Well,
Go.
guess what?
Wash some fucking dishes, you whiny little piece of shit. Now, to your point, I still feel like, man, that's tough. So you like the final, you would you consider these quests that you're doing bloat though in Final Fantasy VII? Do you feel like I don't need this and you just like it because it is a Final Fantasy VII? Or do you think
Yes.
it does like add, yes?
I think yes, because Connor, you would consider a lot of that stuff bloat, right?
Some of it, yeah, but I say that, Jeremy, and I'm interacting with all of it.
Yeah, I'm doing.
See, then that to me is
everything.
like, I don't consider that bloat then.
Yeah, I will say
I
this:
think
the rewards are not meaningful, so that makes it feel sort of.
I mean, that's like relative. Because if
Yeah.
you're finding value in it,
yeah,
that's,
right.
who cares what the, I mean,
the
if they're giving
reward
you
was the journey,
skill. Yeah, but kinda.
and I took that journey
We're-
on a chocobo.
Yeah. I think a good example, I got another one. FF15.
Yeah.
There was
that whole game is
a
bloat.
yeah, kinda. There was like a lot of shit where I was like, I don't want to do most of this stuff.
Or 16.
But you know,
16 was another game where I'm just like, oh,
Another game where it was
God.
like,
Oh,
like,
no.
let me just get through this
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
And
I
we play a
you know,
lot of games too. That's another thing is like I think we're more sensitive. I'm super sensitive to bloat because I'm like, I got another.
we have
I
jobs.
haven't- yeah, we have
we have
jobs.
jobs,
We have another
and I'm
thing
not
that we
spending
want
my
to play.
fucking hard-earned
Yeah.
money.
I just have a lot of stuff I want to get back to or play or like
Yeah.
that has my interest. And
Yeah.
and if I
yeah.
feel like you're wasting my time here, even for a second, I'm like throwing a tantrum.
Yeah.
Here's I don't need to introduce another topic to this.
No, do.
I was gonna say, like an example in Rebirth, Jeremy. This isn't even so the whole item transmuter like system where you collect materials in the world, kind of like
Crafting,
Horizon,
yeah.
the Horizon series. the crafting is one of those things where I'm like, would I rather just be picking up more,
Right.
you know, kind of like when you smash boxes and stuff, potions appear.
Yeah.
Would I rather just that, or do I like this transmuter thing? I think I like the sounds that it makes when you transmute something, and when your level goes up,
Yeah.
your item transmuter level went up. You can craft better stuff. I generally it that has like very little substance to me. The only thing I think I get out of it is that it causes me to, when I'm running through the world, to go look at this cliff because I see a little like item like UI thing coming out of it. So I'm like, I'll go get that item. And
Yeah.
it's got
I
a
think
gold
things
border.
things
Yeah.
just can't be feel like an afterthought,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? Because like there are times where crafting systems are fun, and there's games built around
True.
like crafting, right? So I just feel like if you're gonna have a title of that magnitude, it can't just feel like, well, and we gotta have crafting because whatever,
Yeah.
people like crafting, and then it just feels that's how it feels.
That's how most
you
games
interact with
crafting
it.
feel, I think. Though.
I don't agree. Like I was gonna bring up Zelda, and I was gonna talk about Zelda's cooking. And I think Zelda's cooking is so satisfying and fun. And it's just a silly little, you know, quote unquote, additional thing in this world. But it's like, it didn't feel like, to me anyway, it didn't feel like an afterthought. It felt like, oh, this is like a cool, creative
Yeah.
little system in this. That's
Yeah.
like, you can go down that rabbit hole of like learning all the recipes, and like, it's like deep enough for you to find enjoyment with just that part of the game,
Big time.
because they treat it like its own little mini game.
It's a
And
big
I feel like
part of that game, I think, actually.
well,
Yeah.
well, but it doesn't have to be, because I'm sure there's plenty of people who are like, I ain't cooking shit. I don't care.
Yeah.
But you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's there if you want it.
Right.
But I feel like if you engage with something like that and it doesn't feel like thought kind of went into it, that's bloat, baby. It's bloated.
God.
Then it's like,
It's
it
so
feels like
bloated.
it's
Good point.
just put in there just cause, where it's like, oh, this could be, like you're describing it as, it could just be some shit you find in a crate. That's not a good system, man.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
There's
you know?
It's funny. If you would have told me that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, like they also put a card game in it, I would have been like, well, that's unnecessary. But then to your point, Stevens, I'm playing it and I'm like, this was so well thought out and intentional.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so glad that this is in the game, and I have to participate in every match that I can.
Dude, the card
will-
game is the fucking best shit in the
I mean,
world. Yeah.
Gwent in The Witcher 3,
Yeah.
incredible. Blitzball, Final Fantasy X. Like, there are
Yeah.
times where the side games. Oh, you did not a Blitzball fan?
I just remember having to
loved
do so much
Blitzball.
of that to get like Waka's ultimate weapon. Is
Yeah.
You have
Yes.
to like do like so much
Oh,
blitzball.
Jeremy, I loved it.
Yeah.
And
And you got to know all the guys who are the best at it.
I heard that
Yeah.
Mikey Buckets was pretty good at blitzball.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Mikey Buckets rocked at
Um,
blitzball.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, you know, there's times where it feels like, a studio would just put
Yeah.
some shit in because they feel like they gotta appease an audience, as opposed to like, well, let's make this also fun. Let's make this
I feel like
its own thing.
we could close out by like going around and just saying a bunch of games that we feel like don't have this, like kind of sidestep this, or like we feel like maybe we've been naming a bunch, but I want to name some more just to shout them out. I'm gonna go ahead and start with saying like the Souls games, like because the Souls games are, you have to like the mechanics of combat and puzzle solving. Once you get into that loop, you just want more. You want infinite of it. You want it to be a never-ending thing. I would say that.
Yeah.
I would say that even a game like Elden Ring, that
I hate admitting that you're right, but
dude.
you're in trouble. Put your nose
even
on
a
the
game
wall.
like Elden Ring, that should be the bloatiest game of all time. It also has crafting, but the way they designed it is so
I
much
think
that
you're.
it's like
I think that's a
frictionless.
great example. Well, it's like, I think the Souls, to their credit, that world, harsh as it is, everything matters.
Yeah.
Like, just fighting a little stage 1 guard in the field can feel like a fucking boss fight
Oh,
if
yeah.
you start fucking up. Like, and don't take it seriously. I think you're right.
Every item
That's like-
you pick up could bear extreme significance to your player. and
true.
to the point where when certain items don't and players figure it out, they go nuts. They're like,
Yeah.
why does this thing even exist? It's like one
Yeah.
item out of a billion you've picked up.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, that's a great example, Jeremy. Proud of you, man.
Dude,
That's good.
I ain't no slouch, you know? I come here, I show up. What do you guys think? Games that you've experienced?
Bloatless.
Yeah.
Oh, I was talking about Valve earlier. Portal 1.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Both portals.
Portal 1, you absolutely, and I felt this way about 2, but I felt like the case was easier to make for 1. 1, I was like, oh my gosh, that was the best 3 hours I've ever had in gaming. Yeah, that's up there for me, big time.
Yeah, it sounds like Half-Life 2 might be another one that's kind of close.
Yeah, I think the Half-Life 2 is saved by its really great pacing and set pieces there. Like, I think it's got more bloat than, I think Portal 2, the portals are a little more clean.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But yes.
I already said it, but I think Stray is bloatless. Short. I think any game that's short and sweet has an advantage. With Elden Ring being an insanely good example of something with a lot of shit that everything could matter.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
good
and
stuff.
it's like for your for the story maybe, but also just for your build. Like,
Yeah.
if you're going for a specific build, parts of that game matter significantly more than others.
It's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I don't know. I don't have any
I
others.
really yeah.
You know
I think,
what? I'll throw an RPG out there.
oh, please. That's more what I'm looking for too, I think, cuz
Yeah.
yeah.
The original Paper Mario, I think, is like pretty bloatless. And Thousand
Yeah.
Year Door, it's kind of like a Portal 2 thing where it's expanded out and into my taste way better, and the ideas are even more creative. But Paper Mario 1, I think, could have an argument for this.
I want to throw one I did mention versus the newer iteration, Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 2 is bloated.
Yeah, sure.
I see
I
the
think
argument.
Breath of the Wild 2 is bloated, whereas I think Breath of the Wild is like a masterpiece.
Yeah.
I think there's no fringe weird bullshit. It's like you want to discover every inch of that world, and I found myself in 2 being like, I could do without this underground.
I
shit.
know.
At
And
times,
it's a bummer
like I don't.
because at first I liked it, and then after a
Yeah,
long
there was
time I was
just I think too much of
like,
it.
yeah.
Too much, right? Like, yeah.
And I did the
Anyway.
hell out of that area too because I tried to get all the outfits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I touched every inch of that game, and I would agree that there's an argument to be had there for sure.
I wasn't enjoying every inch of that game like I did Breath of the Wild. Like I wanted to every nook and cranny. I wanted to find it, and that second one, I found myself at times being like, just let me hang out with my friends out on the surface.
All right, folks. Well, I think that's going to do it for Video Games, a comedy show. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be back next week. Before we go out, though, we're going to hear a round of plugs from Mikey. Let's start with you. What do you got going on?
Big news, y'all.
Uh-oh.
My team graduated from Herald Knights, baby. Cap and gown style. Bitchin', if you're in the Los Angeles area, is paired with Rita Repulsa, second Fridays of every month. Working title is Bitchin's Big Sloppy Fuck Around. That's probably not going to be what the
Sounds
show's
like a
called.
pitch.
Actually, shout out to Rachel's significant other, Garrett. That was
Oh.
a Garrett pitch.
Okay.
And we all just were like, we fucking love that.
Way to go, Garrett.
Probably not
Palm.
going to be your title. And
Yeah.
that show's coming up in a couple weeks. And I'm here to tell you, I still don't know what we're going to do.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it'll be a good time.
That's a great pairing
But
too. That'll be fun.
yeah, come check that out. Yeah, it's a good time.
That
That's all I got.
rocks. Connor McCabe.
Follow me on the stuff. Mikey loves Mikey.
Mikey loves
Yeah.
Mikey.
Especially on Venmo.
Venmo.
Demo me.
My Herald team not cut, still around. I'm still on Herald Night. I never plug it, but folks, I'm around. Check
Yeah.
out
Hell yeah.
XOXO every other Monday.
I believe it's your Herald team is uncut.
Yeah, we do refer to
Ooh.
ourselves as uncut. So check us out every other week on Herald Night. You can follow me on social media everywhere at Connor_McCabe. Check out my podcast, Call Me By Your Game. It's a part of this network. I sit down with people and talk to them about meaningful games from particular moments in their lives. The last episode, you got to listen to it. I talked to Sydney O'Toole about an oft-forgotten game, 2001's Christmas Disaster, an amazing game made by Will Wright, the maker of The Sims, and it's a Christmas preparation simulator. It's amazing. I'm sure, Stevens, did you play this growing up?
No.
Cool. It came out on
Sounds
April
funny.
3rd, the episode, 2 days after April 1st, so no coincidence there. And then, follow me on Twitch. I stream video games on Twitch at twitch.tv/ConsisCool69. I've been playing BioShock for our games club. I played through Half-Life 2 there. Jeremy and I stream Halo games almost every Tuesday. We're starting.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this the day this podcast comes out on Monday, tomorrow night at 7 p.m.-ish Pacific time, we're starting the Halo 3 co-op campaign, so stop on by.
Cannot wait. Halo, what a
Halo Hogs.
journey. Halo Hogs, baby. Oink oink. We're in deep with that Halo 3. I can't wait. Yes, of course. Follow me on Twitter at Ocarina of Crime. Follow the show on Twitter at VGA Comedy Show. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/SuperNPCRadio. We got a lot of bonus content over there, including our Games Club series where we are playing through BioShock and talking about our journey as we go. It has been so great. Would you kindly go over there and do that? We'll talk soon.
Kindly.
We'll talk soon, guys. We'll talk soon. And I'm talking to you, listener. Bye.